Good morning, so it's the 13th of May. We are in the new version of lockdown as of today. And, I have to say I've been pretty deflated since the announcement on Sunday. There's nothing about Boris's announcement that was even the smallest bit surprising or unexpected. What I thought was going to happen is what's happening, and it's not what I wanted to happen. There's nothing to do but accept it, of course, and I think feeling somewhat lost and deflated about it is the first step to saying, okay, it's not what I would want it to be. And I found the whole conversation about how confusing the rules are quite an interesting one to observe. And my own response to that has been any confusion I might feel is really a consequence of not being able to find the answers I want to find in it. So a lack of clarity, because I want to keep searching in it until I can find the thing that I would like to find in it, which is for everything to get to a place where I have some of the confidence and freedom that I felt before the virus hit the country. Any sense of being confused or unclear or not liking the message really would come from that place. And I think, there's some weight added to that in that the first set of messages were very much about an immediate reaction to a terribly urgent crisis. And this second set of messages from the government are really that the urgency is a slightly less. So our response is less to gather around it and fully support it, and more to say, well, if it's not so much of a crisis anymore, why can't I have what I want? So it's been quite difficult, and on top of that, I was needed to attend a webcast funeral yesterday, and that was, forgive the phrase, but something of an out-of-body experience, and something I hadn't encountered before and wasn't quite sure how to respond to. That knocked my confidence a little bit. So it's been pretty tough, and I'm conscious that for the last 3 or 4 weeks probably I've started this diary with the comment that I've been in low mood or I am in low mood. I'm actually doing pretty well today because I gave myself quite a lot of time and space at the end of yesterday, and I made sure that there were some things in my diary that would lift me up, not least talking to family members that are hugely supportive. That made me feel a great deal better. And I have coincidentally been working on some materials around building leadership confidence, and the particular piece that I've been working on has been awareness and self-compassion, and I've been looking at Kristen Neff's 3 components of self-compassion and reminding myself what those things really look and feel like when they're in practice properly, and making sure that they're in place for myself, because I think I'm going to find the next few weeks pretty difficult as I wait to see how business responds to the adaptations to the going to work rules. And so those 3 components are, firstly, self-kindness, so really paying attention to how we feel and being okay with that and being able to say, that's okay. And that self-talk, which can be pretty judgmental, pull yourself out of it, get it together, others have got it much worse than you, all that kind of judgmental stuff, really to put it to one side and get back to talking to yourself as you'd be talking to somebody that you love. So that's the first component. The second component is a kind of recognition that we're not alone. So it's okay to acknowledge our feelings and to take care of them and to be gentle with ourselves. But to remember that we're not the only one, and we shouldn't need to feel alone and isolated. And actually just talking to another human being will make a connection and remind us that that person may well be able to understand and support perfectly well. And the third component is this idea of kind of being a witness to ourselves. So being able to acknowledge and accept how we're feeling, talk kindly to ourselves, reach out and connect to other people and be a support to other people, but also to pay attention to what's happening to ourselves, to step outside it and know that it's a kind of a transitory experience, and to be able to engage that part of ourselves that can help us change our conversation. We do have the power to decide how we're going to manage our feelings. We do have the power to decide how we're going to manage our thoughts, and it's a little bit of tapping into that side of being mindful, mindfulness, being present, being aware in the present moment of what is happening, and seeing that as a transitory thing rather than total identification with that in the moment. So those three things I've been exploring in myself, and they've brought me to a place this morning where I'm feeling pretty balanced. I'm not feeling perfect. Everything isn't perfect. There are some difficult truths and a lot of uncertainty still to go. But for anybody out there trying to support others who are struggling or having a moment of struggle themselves, I'd encourage you to check out Kristen Neff's work. You can go to selfcompassion.org, you can have a look at her amazing TED Talks. And in the meantime, look after yourselves, stay well, stay safe, and let's keep trucking on.